Jeremy strikes again. Jeremy strikes again.
This guy.
BJ from Morgan Gumbo here.
Oh,
My guest, Jeremy Howard from Man vs. Meeple and Rawstone Games. And we always like it when Jeremy brings in the spicy hot games. And Jeremy, Dice Manor is one of the hottest things. Everybody's talking about this game, and I know nothing about it. Arcane Wonders, that's it.
All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna read right off of here. No, okay, no. This is a game. It's a real estate game, but really what it is it's a dice game. You are trying to build up your own little kind of manor. You're trying to win You're trying to win tiles from around this board. And what's happening is you have your dice that are for several different things. You have your dice that you can give points in your little different areas. You have dice that will give you the ability to get tiles and bid on them, and people can outbid you. So they can roll one die and it can be a 6, but 2 ones can beat a 6, and 4 threes can beat all of those. And you're kind of bidding on that stuff, but then you're also bidding, and you see in the middle there's like some houses and things like that. What you're trying to do is also bid in the middle so that you can bid dice that will help you move across there to get more dice, because every turn that you take, you're going to be rolling the dice that you have and taking one number representative. So it could be 3 4s or whatever if you roll at that time. And then you're going to put those out wherever you want to. And it's pretty slick, man. I mean, it's very quick. Once you get the rules, you're like, oh, is that it? Like, yeah, that's it. That's kind of the quickest thing about it. But you're trying to also build this route kind of through your tour of your manor. So you'll be trying to get the right numbers to kind of make it so you can, when you roll your die, you can actually add them to the spots so that somebody can go through there and you can score points as you go along. Because at the end, you're going to have this thing called the grand showing. You're going to roll all the dice you have. You're going to take all the modification chips you have and try to create a tour all the way through your house to score points, your manor. And really slick. I mean, it's got a little cutthroat to it. So if you don't like cutthroat type games, because you can literally watch somebody bid right over you in the last turn. But the cool part is that the consolation prize are these die manipulation tokens that you get. So you don't have to you're like, oh man, I'm completely messed over. No, you're not. You have that. And at the end of the game, the more of those you have, the better off you are, because now you can change dice to what you want and to create a longer route. And you get points for having the most of one color, the most of this and X, Y, and Z. So there's definitely ways to score, even if you build what isn't the best, manner, maybe setup wise.
Oh yeah.
But I do like the fact that you roll your dice over and over again on your turn. So every time it's your turn, you roll the dice that you have left. You can bid whatever you want. I love that idea. I just love that idea. So the rolls, you can do something with these rolls, and that's where the catch, I think, is to the game.
Is there a game that it reminds you of a little bit at all?
Lords of Vegas?
Okay, I've heard the reason I was going to ask you is that's exactly what Berkey had said. Berkey said he saw a little bit of Lords of Vegas in there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I just feel like that's kind of where you're at. Using these die to kind of outbid or put them in a spot where you can get to your other dice, and you score points along how you move along that track as well. So there's a lot to it. As you can see, this tile here, there are different shapes of tiles in the next to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's different shapes of tiles. You're trying to win those tiles by putting dice by them. And then when you take that, you're going to put it down in your little area and make your manor. And then what's going to happen is you have to decide if you want to invest in extending your manor, or do you want to maybe just try to get some more dice. The game is quick. It's only 4 rounds. So it's
Jeremy, Jordan and Patrick say you're killing them.
What's going on?
They're like, I remember when we used to watch Board Game Gumbo, Jeremy would come on, and the next thing you know, they're out there spending money on different games. He does such a good job of selling these games, though. You know what I like about Jeremy? Jeremy gets right to the heart of what the game is about. You talk about the experience.
Yeah.
That's what I like.
I just feel like when you get a game, you kind of want to know. You do want to know what the turns are like, but it's like, hey, ultimately, what does it feel like? What is there a comparison? Well, sometimes I just don't compare games. I'm like, you want to know what it feels like. Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You do. That's really what you want to do. And like, we know there's other games out there that do, like you said, Lords of Vegas. What's fun about this game is all that matters. There's enough strategy, and each time you get in your rolls, you don't have really bad rolls if you manage yourself correctly, because if you lose, your consolation prize are die modification tokens. Mm-hmm. And those tokens will help you not only for your future rolls, but ultimately will really help you at the end, where you can score like 3 points for every die you put down. So you're trying to make sure you have as many happy guests at the end. But so there's plenty of ways to score if you're bad at building an engine. So
there is some mitigation though.
Mm-hmm. So those tokens are very clutch. Let's just say they're very clutch. They are very clutch. Because of course, otherwise you'd be stuck with some bad rolls, right?
What do you think? Does this look something like you're interested in?
It's appealing, yeah. I love the look of it, and like you said, get to the heart of why should I be playing this, and what's going to be the fun factor in this? What's going to be the kernel that gets you going?
Yeah, it just has a build up to it. One of the other things, like during the game, if you put like a certain amount of die in like a sequence through your thing, like you run your engine basically, you get like a multiplier for points. It's not like multiplier, but the more die you place in a row, the more points you get. So it's like you can watch somebody like trigger their board off, and you're like, oh my God, they're scoring like crazy. Or you can be like, hey, this person's putting all these die down. Boy, they're getting to their other dice. So now they have more dice to roll.
Oh, I like that.
Mine is people will kind of crap out with dice. They'll put too many dice and invest in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden, like, hey, it's our turn. And you're like, I have no dice, or I have one, Yeah. So that's why it's interesting to learn. It's almost like when you learn your first game, you want to play it right away because you're like, now I get it. And I got to, have some sense of urgency of how I'm going to do this over 4 rounds. So I thought the game was really interesting. I'm ready to dig back into it.
Cool.
Is it out in retail? Is it on Kickstarter?
I think it's just coming out right now.
Okay. Yeah, my understanding is that it was an Essen release. No one could find it anywhere. Mm-hmm. And our friend Robert from Arcane Wonders picked it up. And so they are finally getting into American shores. So yes, if you want to spend money, Jordan, Jeremy strikes again. Jeremy strikes again.
This guy.
How much take that would you say? Light take that, medium take that, or a lot take that?
It's a lot because there's potential. Like there's potential to be outbid all the time. So like in that middle area there, you can put dice in there. Let's say you put 1 6 in there. You put 2 6s in there. Well, 3 1s can beat 2 6s. So it's more dice that matter. But then once you're at the same level, it's how many more. So like you're investing, hoping to God that yours works out. But you're also investing, and you may have to overinvest. So there's like a thing kind of like that idea, you get pushed down. But if you're in first or second place, you get to move across your track and score points. If you get pushed all the way to the end, you still get a modification token. So even if you lose, you get something.
This almost sounds like it might be kind of slightly different games depending on who you're playing with.
Yeah,
if you have a different crowd, the game could have a very different flavor.
Because of course, at some point too, you're watching people who have 2 green buildings, and you have 2 green buildings. So you're like, whatever I do, I don't want them to get the 3rd green building, that kind of thing. So yes, a little bit of Scout overtaking too. Yes.
Totally what I was thinking when you were describing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is Dice. It's Dice Manor from Arcane Wonders.
I'm digging it.
It's out there. Jeremy says he's digging it, so it's on that end of the scale. He likes it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.